Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is the Kohetsu Nashiji Aogami or Blue number 2 Bunka 210mm knife, so this is a pretty long version of that. The construction on these is Aogami Blue Paper number 2, reactive high carbon steel in the center, cutting in the cutting edge. It comes out down here. You can very easily see that core steel peeking out from the cladding. The cladding on either side for 3 layers system is soft stainless steel, and it has a kind of a pear skin or Nashiji slightly hammered finish on it as well. The heat treat's typically around 62 Rockwell for this type of steel, and it's an easy to sharpen, really nice steel that takes a great edge, and it's just really good for kitchen knives. So this will sharpen up like a champ and yet have some stainless cladding on the side to make it a little bit easier to take care of. Just an FYI, the cladding looks like it does not go over the top, so when you look very closely at the spine, if I can show this to you, you can see those layers. So that center layer peeking out there, is reactive because it's showing. So, like you should do with really any knife, stainless or not, but keep this knife clean and dry when you're done using it. Don't let it sit wet. The weight and dimensions will vary based on, each knife and how it's made, so these can vary a little bit. This particular one is 196 grams or 6.9 ounces. The edge length is right about 210 on the money, or 8¼ inches, and the overall length is about 360 millimeters. The spine thickness, these are fairly thick coming out of the handle, then they thin out a bit. They're fairly stout, stiff blades. With this one, I got about 4.2 coming at the back of the heel, and then about halfway down, I got 2.3, and then about that. The rest of the way, you got the corner there with the reverse sword tip for the style. And then the grind is fairly generous, and you can see it starts to thin out towards the tip with the grind. So it thins out pretty nicely at the tip for performance. And then here's what the choil shot looks like. Again, it's a fairly stout blade, but they thin it out pretty nicely towards the edge. I wouldn't call this a laser, but the performance is a pretty good balance on these. Let's see, blade height is about 49.5 on this, and you've got a pretty thin neck, and there's a fairly long neck there, so you got plenty of room for a pinch grip there. Lots and lots and lots of board clearance, for your knuckles, not a problem. Handles are just pretty standard, good quality, basic octagonal walnut handle with a black Packwood ferrule. These have pretty tight, looks like pretty nice glue-up job where the tang goes into the handle. And the circumference on that's about 75, 76 millimeters where the two materials meet, around 3 inches, pretty standard size. The blade's got a little bit of mass to it, and the handle's not super heavy, so that brings the balance point still a little bit behind your pinch grip, depending on where your pinch grip is. For me, pinch grip, actually, you know what, that's pretty close. Maybe it's slightly ahead of that, but it just depends on where you like to grip the knife. But if you're doing a pinch grip, that's pretty neutral, at least for my particular grip. So you do have a little bit of feel like you got a knife in your hand, though, with the weight. So it gives you a little bit of muscle, too, besides that. The grinds are nice on these. The fit and finish is nice. I guess we'll get our beauty shot here. And we'll do that. So there's our beauty shot. And if we look really close, everyone's going to be a little different. They've got some... It almost looks like it could be engraved, but it's not, I don't think. I think it's embossed, but it's really crisp and nicely done. So it's got some detail to it. It's a nice job on the kanji there. And then you've got your Nashiji or pear skin type finish along with some kind of random hammering. So every knife's going to be a little different. It's got a lot of handcrafted character to them. So, you'll get a one-of-a-kind blade for sure. Everyone's going to be a little different. And... this is just a little bit of oil on there from the sheath that it comes in. But yeah, nice looking finish on there. They've got a little bit of relief on the corners on the spine. They've got some nice relief on the corners of the choil into the neck. So I'd say out of the box, about maybe 6 out of 10 edge on this. So it's got a nice out of the box edge and pretty well ready to go. But again, these will get really sharp. They'll pretty much get as sharp as you can get them for whatever your skill level is. So here's our cutting board profile. Every knife's not going to be exactly the same on the edge profile, but this will give you an idea what this maker does in general. So you can see they've got a fair amount of curve that kind of goes into a little flattish area back there. And The tip is pretty low. That's normal for this style of blade, so it's not meant to rock a lot, but I can still get up in that range there. So you could rock this pretty easy over smallish, medium type stuff. And it's got a real nice kind of gentle belly for push-pull cuts, glide cuts. I wouldn't say it's a pure chopper. This particular one, if you wanted to tinker with the edge profile, you could probably take a little bit off in there and maybe flatten out the back just a touch. But again, every knife's going to be a little different. But just a good all-around knife. Good value, great steel, stainless cladding. So it's just a nice line of knives. So this is the Kohetsu Nashiji Bunka in Aogami or blue number 2, 210 millimeter knife.